Hello to all. I'm going to do a quick review of this Strike Industries mass driver comp. For you guys who do not know what this is, it is a compensator for Glock pistols, Glock 19 and 17, that does not require a threaded barrel. So most comps will need a threaded barrel to attach. This one is attached to the guide rod, as you see down there, and you do not need a threaded barrel. So if you live in a state where dangerous threaded barrels are not legal, this is an option for you. I originally got it for my P80 Glock 19 build, but the slide right here didn't fare well with it and it would not cycle. So what happened was, this comp is spring loaded, it goes back. This is not a standard Glock slide, obviously, so it would bump here, and you can actually see kind of mess the serial code up and everything. And it would not allow the slide. Well, the slide would close all the way, but then it would bump it back just a little bit, and I would just continually get light primer strikes on this. So I decided just to switch it over to a standard Gen 4 Glock 19. But what this comp right here actually isn't made for this. This is a Gen 3 comp. They do make a Gen 4. Gen 3, Gen 4 Glocks have different recoil springs. The shape down there at the bottom of the slide. So this is actually for Gen 3. However, I just threw it on the Gen 4 and it's working. And as you see, the front slide's fine. It does wiggle a little bit more, but I've fired about 200 rounds to this one right here and no issues, cycle's fine, all that. So I know 200 rounds is not the best sample size to know if something really works well, but times are tough, ammo's hard to come by. I don't want to shoot up all my reserves, but one, if you get a compensator on a gun, you want to make sure it doesn't change the reliability of your firearm. So one of the most important thing, it doesn't change that up. Still works just fine. I haven't had any issues with this Glock. It's stock minus this trigger right here, and nothing's changed about that. The next thing you want to know is, does it work? Does it compensate? Does it reduce muzzle rise? Yes, it is an effective compensator. There is a difference between a non-comp Glock and when you throw this on. Is this better than other compensators? I haven't tried all or even half or quarter of the pistol compensators out there to try, so I can't speak on is it the best, worst, middle, mediocre, anything like that, but it is something that works. I'm not going to say it works better than everything, because this right here, this Zev comp works very well. I'm not going to say this works better than the Zev comp. It works differently. This definitely gives it a different recoil feel on the handgun when shooting, but it does reduce the muzzle rise. The Zev comp, I'll do a review on that later, but it does work as well too. I will say it does work better than this ported barrel. So this is a Glock 19 barrel, just sticks out a little bit from the front, blasts gas upward, and I will say this comp is better than the ported barrel. So if you're just looking for something that will help, and this does have a very nice sci-fi look on it, it's something, again, if you have a standard Glock slide, I do not believe at all it is going to mess up your Glock as far as reliability, and it works. A positive of this compensator right here also is that it keeps the lines and the width of the standard Glock just fine. So usually if you get a Glock and it has some weird dimensions, you might have to get a different holster for it. This is, as you can see, a CZP-10F holster, but it fits Glocks just fine, and it's open bottom, so this is a little bit longer than a 17 right here. That holsters, even one that's not even made specifically for a Glock, but you know, is known to work fine for a Glock. Works just fine with this compensator. Has plenty clearance. You don't have to worry about getting snagged down there or anything like that. Those openings are shaved and they're kind of recessed, so it's smooth. You don't have to worry about your holster hanging up at the end of those when you're drawing. The only negative thing, which isn't that bad, is the installation is a little bit, it can be a little bit difficult. You have a pretty strong spring and you gotta compress it to get this all down, then crank this nut down here to lock it all up. It's definitely nothing I want to take on and off all the time. Not that big of an issue, but it's not as easy as usually if you might just twist something down on a threaded barrel. As far as the concussion, it's not that bad out in the open. I only shoot outside. Out in the open when nothing's by me, it's not bad, but then I stood next to a hill and underneath a shed, aluminum tin roof or whatever. This thing actually blows out some concussion. It gets noticeable when it has something else to bounce off of. Nothing like a short barrel rifle with no muzzle brake or with a muzzle brake, but this is definitely a little bit more powerful and concussive than a regular blank, non-compensated handgun barrel. So overall, is this a compensator you should try out? I would say yes. I'm in a state where, threaded barrels aren't an issue. I can buy, a regular compensator that goes on the traditional way. I just got this for the looks. Looks nice. The price compared to other compensators is not that far off at all. It's actually cheaper than a lot of compensators. And it looks cool. It looks very sci-fi and it works. This mechanism does here, I'm not gonna say it's revolutionary as far as anything, that it doesn't outperform the other ones, but it does make a difference in the end. If you want something to shoot splatter everything, this will help do it for you. But I appreciate you guys watching. Take care.